It's your call with John Penny and Dwayne Long.
Oh my goodness, it's your call, John.
Yeah, it's my call. It's always my call. I'll tell you right now, I'm having more fun on this radio show or whatever it is. Is it a radio show?
Is it a radio show? Let's ask Matt real quick.
Matt,
is this a radio show?
It's a simulcast.
A simulcast, which is even better than radio.
Oh,
I don't really sure I know what a simulcast is, but
I think it means like a simulated
radio and video.
radio and video.
Well, there you go.
They call that TV. Some people.
You know, we ought to get paid twice.
You guys have faces for radio.
Yeah, we got faces for radio.
We ought to get. Yeah, that's for sure. Especially yours. Have you seen that little thing you've got going there?
Yeah, it's my Johnny Ringo look.
Johnny Ringo.
Yeah.
Wasn't he a crook?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well,
We're
that's
stealing
don't go
I'm
there.
stealing your time right now.
And you're stealing my lines also. All right. Well, anyway, we're here to talk about
Hey,
sports.
thanks for listening too. Whoever's out there listening, thank you very much. We really appreciate that. It's we're just a couple of guys from Boys Club Boys that grew up, and we're just having fun.
Lots of fun.
Lots of fun.
This is a great opportunity to share our stories about sports and the things we loved about.
And if I ever grow up, this is what I want to be.
Well, there you go. Right here.
Yeah,
Oh,
I love it.
you will never grow up.
Yeah, probably not. That's, my wife tells me that
Oh,
every night.
that's not all. That's the only thing she sells. But we're not going to go there. This is sports. Hey, I watched the Hall of Fame speeches over the last couple of days.
What sport?
Football.
Football.
The Football Hall of Fame.
Incredibly, a great museum, or they're not museum, but whatever. A great Hall of Fame. It really is.
Yeah, have you been there?
Yeah.
Oh, me too. Many years ago, back when I lived in Ohio. It was a great place. But anyway, we had some great people last night and the night before that were enshrined.
Most of them Pittsburgh Steelers.
I know. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I can.
You would be because you're a Steeler aficionado.
I am the fanatic they talk about.
There you go. You are the fanatic. They had 4 Pittsburgh Steelers enshrined into the Hall of Fame this weekend,
which is more than some teams they actually have.
And you know, there was at the enshrinement ceremony, there were a lot of Steeler fans there.
Sure.
They had those ground towels, I believe is what they call them. Is that what they call them?
I don't know. I don't know what you're doing.
The yellow towels.
The terrible towels.
Oh, the terrible towels.
I've got 2 of those.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're a big person. You need 2 towels. So anyway.
But what was the best speech?
Oh gosh, they had so many good speakers. I mean, Bill Coward on Saturday night gave a really inspiring speech about the Steeler Nation.
Mm-hmm.
Really, in fact, all the Steelers talked about Steeler Nation. And then that one guy, Troy
Polamalu, man, to me, one of my favorite Steelers of all time. He was a great football player who seemed to win games when they had to have him do something. He'd intercept the ball. He'd make a tackle. He changed the way the game was played in his position, which to me is the mark of a great athlete, that they change their sport.
Oh, yeah, he made a big difference. I know that Maurice Drew Jones was talking about Troy, and when he competed against him, one of the things he said was that when you saw Troy's hair, you knew you were about to get hit, and hit hard, because that's the way
they
he played the game, was to really tackle hard.
There's so many games where he intercepted the ball. The one game, say the Super Bowl, he intercepted that ball at the half-yard line, and I think he was inside the safety of the touchdown zone, and he ended up intercepting the ball, taking it back a long way, and I think he took it back the whole way for the touchdown, which really sealed the victory. And I just, tears in my eyes watching him. He is a kind of a ball player.
Well, he was an old school ball player.
Right.
He
right.
played the game the way it was meant to be played.
And they changed, the rule changes are not bad if they keep people from getting hurt. But playing back then, that was a rough sport. You had people's Ray Nitschke for the Green Bay Packers. He was a bad man. He just stopped people. And the Kansas City Chiefs have had some great defenses over their time.
Not recently.
No, they had some holes in that, but I think this year they could have it back again.
They might. Another inductee this year was Drew Pearson, a great quarterback great wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, and he gave a great speech and really challenged younger players today to kind of really think about the legacy of the game and what they're doing. And
you're not going to win championships unless you all play together. And that's the thing about football. You have 20. Well, they have like 30 people, 40 people on the team, but 22 playing, starting the game and stuff with 11 defense, 11 offense. And
yeah, they
have to play together.
Yeah, there's 22 players on the team on the defensive and offensive side. There's 53 players on each team that start off on the sideline, but you've got those 22, and they're all out there trying to do their very best.
Right.
Well, should be.
Sometimes
you don't see the very best of football out on the football field.
But most of the time, because you get hit. Now, boxers, they talk about being punchy in boxing. I'm doing good. I work at the gym, Well, football players, I've seen football players like that, a lot of them. And they just, the ones that they have on Monday Night Football and do the games during the Sunday's games, Thursday's games, they're picked. They learn how to speak and how to use their voices. They're picked to be on that show because there are a lot of people that slur, and I'm one of them from boxing. Mm-hmm. When I get tired, I slur words. And I love those guys. The first Monday Night Football, Dandy Don Gifford and
Howard
Cosell. How could he forget Howard Cosell?
I can't.
But they used to take a brick in Denver, Colorado. They had a bar with a TV, black and white TV, with the game on, and when Howard said something that made him mad, they could throw a brick through the TV. They bring another TV out. To be that big, to be that hated, mm-hmm. was incredible.
Yeah, they do a lot of things. They do a lot of things like that out there in Denver, a little differently than we do. But hey, it's football.
It's football.
Peyton Manning gave a wonderful speech last night, and Peyton is very funny. He's very funny on the commercials he does, and he's very funny with a lot of different things he's working on. Him and his brother have that College Bowl show now, and they're real funny as well. But one of the things he shared last night was about he was talking about the length of the speeches that players have to do now. They're limited to 6 minutes. And he had commented that Ray Lewis, who was inducted in 2015, had just finished his speech from his Super Bowl, his Hall of Fame.
Just finished
it, which meant they only had 6 minutes to share. And Tom Brady was there supporting Peyton Manning.
Well, he should be.
Of course, Peyton said whenever Tom gets there, and he won't have much time at all to talk because it'll be 2035.
Technically, I believe Brady and Manning were the top what, 4-3. I mean, a great, but technically didn't always get you wins. Although it seems to work for Brady pretty well.
Well,
But
what is
Bradshaw was a guy who played 4, won 4.
right?
And there were other quarterbacks that were great quarterbacks that technically they were not as gifted as Brady or Manning, but they won the games. They came through and won the games.
Well, one of the things that I know, again, Manning spoke about the legacy of the game and how it's important for today's football players to think about the future and how they present themselves on and off the field holds a important role in the future of football.
Right.
And so I just thought he did a great job with his speech.
Has he made a mistake so far? I mean, seriously, has Peyton Manning made a mistake about his career? Football, he wasn't even on the Colts at first. Wasn't he one they traded? He got drafted at first by San Diego or something like that. They traded him to. I mean, I'm not sure that for sure, but I think that's true. He everything he did with his career, and I'm not saying it's been fine combed or something like that, but he has done nothing to bring any kind of embarrassment to him, his family, or football.
Right.
None.
Right. Yeah. The what it was the New York Jets. Peyton was in his junior year, going into his senior year of college. The Jets had intended to select Peyton as their number one choice.
Okay.
But Peyton and her dad, Archie, decided it would be best for Peyton to stay one more year at Tennessee. And then the following year, the Indianapolis Colts got the number one pick, and they selected Peyton Manning as the number one pick in the draft.
We met Peyton and we met his dad at the Boys and Girls Club
Steak and
steak dinner. And it was a joy. I loved meeting Archie because, man, I remember games watching him on college football Saturday, just unbelievable.
Oh, he could heat that ball.
Oh, and he, as a pro, he just got on a bad team too early and had a harder time.
Yeah, he played for the Saints for several years, and of course the whole Manning family with Peyton and Eli and Archie has a grandson that's getting ready, finishing up his college career, and they're already talking rave reviews about he will surpass what Peyton and Eli have done.
Well, you hope that happens, but I want to see it happen. And I'll tell you something else has been going on. The Big 12, they've already moved from 10 to 12. Now they're going to get two new teams, Oklahoma and Texas. I think it's going to be too much.
Yeah, they're losing Oklahoma.
Oh, they're losing. Oh, that's right. Yeah, they're losing.
Texas and Oklahoma have decided to join the Southeast Conference, have been invited to join, and they intend to. And what that's going to do, the Big 12 is going to be the Big 10 again, unless they bring on some additional teams.
Do you think the Big 12 the teams that play against them, are not going to go completely all out to beat them the last time they play them?
Yeah, because they don't. They have to stay in the conference until 2025.
Oh, 2025?
2025, they can't leave until 2025. So in 4 years, the Big 12 conference is going to lose all that money. And Texas and Oklahoma are the two biggest money draws for the conference. But there is hope for them because I know that the Big 10, formerly Big 12, and the Pacific 12 conference, they are looking at doing some sort of a partnership where they'll play home and away game with them. And those teams like Oklahoma State and West Virginia and those teams getting to play a big conference like Pac-12, that would be a big draw.
Oh, sure. Well, I just this is not going to be the only conference that changes. Though.
No, it's going to end.
There's going to be, and I believe, and well, I'm going to make some people mad on the Catholic side. Notre Dame's going to go to a conference.
Oh, is that a good thing?
Yeah, I think so. I think moving forward is a good thing. I think that Notre Dame picks their own, but hey, Notre Dame has a tough schedule every year. Now, granted, they do play Navy, and they do play another, usually a fairly weak team. I can't remember who it is, but they also, for a while they were the ones that played Miami. They were the tough team that played Miami every year, which where Miami was killer.
Yeah,
and they play Michigan. Who's got a good team every year. They play They play some tough teams.
I think they played Clemson last year a couple of games.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Plus in the college playoffs as well.
Right. So I mean, it's not easy, but I'm a Notre Dame fan. I always have it, but that was from being in the 6th grade, and I don't know if many people out here know what a rosary is, but a rosary is a string of beads that Catholics say prayers on. And on Friday, our nun would have us all say a rosary for the Notre Dame football team.
No.
Nothing else is going on in the world.
Nothing,
but the Notre Dame football game coming up. And, I love that. I'll tell you something else. This same nun, if an ambulance went by or a fire truck or something went by, we stopped immediately and we said a Hail Mary for the people that are being helped and for the people that are going to help them. And, I still do that. And that's got to be 40, 50 years. I mean, I just think it's nice that you're not thinking to yourself all the time that you're hoping for somebody.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. It's, we, not being Catholic, but being a Southern Baptist, when I see an ambulance go by, or I always take a few seconds just to pray for the family and the
That's
individual.
good, man. Here's somebody I'm not praying for. And I love them, but I can't pray for them. Well, they need prayer. Chicago Cubs.
Oh, the Chicago Cubs. I tell you what. Why are they trading people like Rizzo and Baez and like Bryant? It can't be just the money.
No, it can't be. I mean, I don't see them getting anybody close to being. If they were getting top flight pitchers, I would say, okay, a good trade, maybe, but a good trade. You get something back in return. They're not getting that.
I don't know who they got, and I don't know why they didn't. Just like, the Cubs had the opportunity to get a Max Scherzer from the Washington Nationals, and a great pitcher, a great strikeout pitcher, a good control pitcher, and they didn't even take a look at him. I mean, it can't be about the money. Maybe it is about the money. Everything seems to be about money these days anyway. But, I'm just so surprised that they traded the 3 guys who led them to the 2016 World Series. They led them to the World Series.
And they won the World Series.
And they won. After 108 years, they won the World Series. Now, it'll probably be another 108 years before they win also. I hope you know that.
Oh, God, please. Well, I won't be around for a lot of them. So, but I mean, as a Cub fan, I was so sad. And that Michael Wilbon from Part of the Interruption, I thought he didn't know whether to cry or break stuff. I mean, he was just so upset. And I look at it as giving up.
Yeah.
That you are saying we can't do it, we're going to give up, and hopefully get some young minor leaguers that are going to really help us a lot. Well, 2 or 3 years off maybe. So what are we going to do? Lose?
Yeah, for the next 3 years, you're probably going to be at the bottom of that
exactly.
Central Division, and they probably won't be alone though.
No,
we'll be talking about the Cardinals in a little bit. And
Cardinals, can I say something about the Cardinals?
Oh, go ahead.
I was working for the Chicago. I was working for the Army which is a way to actually make money. If you're in the Army, not so much, but if you're working for the Army. But I was helping kids over that were in Europe, they're going to school and stuff, and I taught them how to be theater and funny. So
You taught him that.
yes, and I was one day going through a huge event in a German town, and they had all these cardinals, which are a ranking of priests in Catholic Church and
Oh,
bishops and stuff like that. And somebody came with me one time, and I just was just shaking a bunch of cardinals' hands. And the guy says, "Hey, John." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Have you ever met a cardinal before?" I said, "I met Lou Brock in the St. Louis airport." And he started laughing. And my friend, the priest, thumped me on the head. Boy, thump,
Yeah.
And
Well, I can understand that.
yeah, he said, hey,
Well, what did you know? You were young.
no, I wasn't. I was like probably 22, 23, 24.
Okay, you were stupid.
Yeah, well, that's stupid is a good
That's
word.
probably a better word for you. Although my wife would say you shouldn't.
But
call
the
people
Cardinals, I remember one time we were in a bus going to a St. Louis Cardinal baseball game for the Boys Club kids. And it was just, we were so excited. We were so happy. And we pulled up into the parking lot, and Roger Maris was standing on the right-hand side of the bus. And the kids went nuts.
stupid.
I mean, everybody recognized him. Everybody screaming, "Roger!" They all ran to the one side of the bus. I thought we were going to tilt over.
Tilt the bus. Yeah, I remember
and,
that.
They're screaming and everything. And he looked up at us, and he just had this weird a very cool smile and waved at us.
Oh, he had that flat top too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember
And
that flat top?
People, I've talked to Boys Club kids when we have our functions and stuff, and they mention that still, how big a deal that was to them.
Yeah, I did want to say one more thing about the Cubs trade. I thought, I kind of figured they would trade Bryant because he was at the end of his production has kind of been down recently in the last.
Bryant?
Yeah, Bryant. Yeah. And, but I thought for sure they would keep Rizzo because Rizzo was he was like Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub.
He was a guy that laughed at you and had fun with you, and he did funny things, and he would talk to you when he went to the bases.
And the only good thing I think that happened after he was traded, he ended up hitting consecutive home runs day after day.
Well, all three of them hit it the first day
Yeah, I
they
believe they
played. They
did.
all three hit home runs.
And that's like saying,
Hey, we're gone.
yeah,
And Michael Wilbon from Part of the Interruption. I mean, you can see it's like he's looking older. It's like, oh, man, I spent my whole life for the Cubs, and they finally win. Let's trade the best three guys off the team.
yeah, that was incredible. I couldn't believe that trade. Well, we got the Olympics are finally over. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad the Olympics are over.
I am an American. I love my country very much. I love when our people win gold medals in the Olympics, but this has been the strangest Olympics I've ever been around.
It's been wild. We eventually won the medal count. I think 39 gold medals
Right.
and a total of 119 medals, which led every country. But we edged out China in the gold medal by one gold medal.
Wow.
And that's an incredible feat. That's great for the team, but it was a lackluster performance by many, especially it seems like the track and field events this year were just.
Well, I don't want to make anybody really, really mad at us, but gymnastics,
Yeah.
that girl sitting out, and I don't even want to use her name. But it really bothered me. You're there for the team. It's not just being there for your individual events. You're there for the team.
Yeah, it is a team event, and so many of those participants this year in gymnastics, track and field was another one. They just didn't perform at the level that we're accustomed to. We're
Right.
accustomed to giving their very best in their all, and that's what we should expect out of our Olympic representatives.
Exactly.
That they would give.
And they would be proud of the
everything.
team they're playing for, proud of the flag they're playing for.
We had people turning their backs. We had people not giving their best effort, people quitting
When
their
I
events. And
when I boxed in the U.S. Championships
Yep.
3 times, I was so proud. I was so proud of that, and then I had a shot at going to the U.S. or the Olympic trials, and I got beat twice. And I both times I thought I won the fight, but they wanted the guys that were more experienced, I think, and gave them the fight. But it was such an honor to me fighting in Kansas City. One of the great things that ever happened was I was fighting for the championship of Kansas City, the regional championship, and they would turn out the lights, and there'd be one big spotlight on your corner. And they go, ladies and gentlemen, from Springfield, Missouri, fighting for Kansas City, 156 pounds, John Penny.
Yeah,
And
that
then
was pride.
Oh,
You were
man.
proud of that.
My heart was beating 1,000 miles an hour, and I won 2 championships back to back with my coach, Mr. Murphy. And it was so special to me that it happened. You know, one with Jim McManus is my coach, one with Mr. Murphy. I'll be really honest. It was just fantastic.
Well, and that's what I think upsets me so much is that, you know, we have seen these participants in the Olympics express so much pride in their country and in their pride in their event and their success. And then this year, it's like, remember the victory on ice? I mean, that was a celebration. I didn't see celebration. You know what I saw? I saw one lady on a soccer team, women's soccer team, take a knee, kneel down when the national anthem was being played. I didn't appreciate that.
No.
And that's just me. It's, it has nothing to do with racism.
If you're playing for your
anything.
team sport, you're playing for your country's team, and the money. Listen, people don't realize how much money it takes to get people in shape and coaching and everything else. It's very expensive. So you're taking the USA's money to train. You're getting the flight, the place to stay, the right to be one of the best in the world, and you're turning your back. You're bending down a knee. You bend your knee down to pray. That's what you do.
One of the things that I did enjoy, though, I saw the celebration of the men's basketball team.
Oh, sure.
And those guys were.
Hey,
Kevin Durant came out and he said some things about you need to be proud who you're representing.
that's right.
And I thought that was great. I have a newfound respect for Kevin Durant.
Yeah, exactly. And they were not, they were the favorites, but they weren't runaway favorites like they used to be. It wasn't the dream team they were playing. It was on this team, and they played good basketball, and they won, and they won the gold, and the women won the gold, and I'm glad of that.
Well, I think that's in the 2024 Olympics. That'll be coming up in 3 years. I hope to see a different attitude among some of the team members.
I pray we have a different attitude around the country for a lot of things.
Oh,
I really do.
that's
I
true.
want us to get back to where we love each other, that we're friends. I had a coach named Richard Young who I loved.
Right.
I still love him, and he helped me so much. People talk about I had a very unique style. That came from Richard Young. He allowed me to work on this style and helped me and helped me and helped me. And I was lucky to have a guy like that. I mean, I loved Richard Young, and he told a bunch of people at the time, he says, "I helped raise that boy,"
That's true.
and he sure did.
He sure did. He was a fixture around the boxing ring there at the Boys Club on Boonville Street, and his not only his boxing skill, but also his character was way above what we sometimes see today.
He was working my corner. I was fighting Johnny Copeland, who was a great fighter from Joplin.
Yeah.
And it was the last time we fought, the 4th time we fought, and neither one of us had ever knocked the other guy down. The first round, right toward the end of the round, bam, Johnny Copeland hit me with that right hand. And I flew back into the corner, sit on the ground. I was like dizzy. I was really messed up. And I heard Richard Young going, "Get up, "Get up, Johnny, get up." And I looked at him and I'm thinking, "You get up."
Yeah.
That kind of hurt. And I went ahead and got up. And then the third round of the fight, I knocked him down.
There
And I
you
won
go.
the fight on a split decision.
Knocking him down probably made the
It
difference.
made the whole thing up,
Made
you
the
know.
difference. You know, Johnny was he was a kind of a tall, lanky,
Right.
long armed.
And he could
He
hit.
could hit.
Oh, Lord, he could hit.
Great boxer. Great boxer. They had a lot of great boxers back in the
Oh, it
days,
was a lot of
so.
fun. You
Uh,
weren't one of them, but
I was not one of them. No,
But you showed guts. You get in that box ring, I'll tell you something. You get in the box ring in a real fight, and you're going to fight some guy who knows what he's doing. He's had like 20 fights. You've had 2 or 1. That shows a lot of guts.
Yeah, or stupidity, one or the other. Because the only thing I want to box now is the cereal box.
You know, when Jim McManus says, you say, "What should I do, Coach?" And you go, "Cover up."
Cover up. That's not a good sign.
No.
Well, I know we got this is the first week of preseason football. I just don't know what.
Well, last week was the Steelers.
Well, I
played
mean, the Steelers did beat the Cowboys in the Hall of Fame game.
That's right.
And that was a great accomplishment. You didn't see, well, you saw one of the new Steeler players, Najee Harris, the running back.
Right.
And he did really well for the time that he played.
Right.
Averaged about 3 yards a carry.
Which right
20
now that's about 2.5 yards more than we got last year.
Which I think there was 3 carries, and he ran his number 22.
Right.
He got 22 yards. And I guess they said that's enough.
That's enough.
So,
But we're going to get next week. He's 122.
maybe you never know. But you did see some of the new players,
Right.
But we didn't
See
we
Ben.
didn't, we didn't see Ben, and probably won't see Ben.
You never see those guys in the first 2 or 3 games. You know, you think Brady's going to go out there, but
No.
Brady wants to go out there.
Oh, sure he does. So did
He
Ben.
wants to play. So does Ben. They want to play every game. They want to play every down of every game. You have to give these older guys a break, everyone. If you're ahead by 25 points, take them out of the game.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of that happening though.
No.
No, they'll put that because these
Well-
guys are. Here's the difference between some of these fellas and some other quarterbacks. These guys are competitive.
Oh, very.
Their desire is to compete, win or lose. They want
Well,
to compete, and
They're
they want
going
to
to
win.
get blamed one way or the other. They either win or if they lose, it's because of them.
Yeah.
You know, and they want the chance to win that game.
But we've got a couple of Kansas City is playing San Francisco coming up this week, and then I believe your team, the Steelers, have already got 1 win for
Right.
preseason. They're going to be playing the Philadelphia.
So team in
Eagles.
Philadelphia, that's that Pennsylvania rivalry.
Well, we got that new kid, Jalen Hurd, I believe,
Right.
is the new quarterback
For the Phillies.
for the Phillies.
Not the Phillies, the
Yeah, the Eagles.
Eagles.
Kind of mixing baseball with football.
Hey.
So we got the Eagles.
I just want I don't want anybody to get hurt. You were going to talk earlier, or maybe later on in the show's coming up about preseason games.
Yeah.
I hate to see anybody get hurt, but I used to hate. You remember the Pro Bowl? They had the Pro Bowl, and the players would go to Hawaii and
Oh,
play.
yeah.
About 3 or 4 years ago, they had 2 guys get injured playing sand volleyball. The professional football players got hurt playing sand volleyball, out for half a year.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do that. You can't be a professional boxer and go out and play tackle football. You know, you can't do it.
No, because you get hit, and let's say you get a shoulder injury.
Right. That's it.
How
You're
you
done for a
gonna
while.
throw a punch with a shoulder injury?
That's right.
It's gonna take time to heal, and it's gonna take time to where you can actually absorb the punch itself. So it'll take time. But yeah, the Pro Bowl used to be a Pro Bowl. Now it's a
Whoever wants to show up.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense, but a lot of the really great players sit out.
yeah.
But that's cause the money's not what they'd rather go ahead and rest and make $100,000.
Right. Yeah. It's not. They're not getting paid enough to go out there for play an extra game.
Right.
And that's if you're the winner.
You're right.
If you're the loser, you make less money. So
No,
I
I
just,
think it's pretty much. Well, yeah, you're right. It
I
is a
think-
little less money.
I think it is a little bit less.
They try to
money
give them
if-
some kind of motivation, but $100,000 nowadays.
They use celebrity coaches.
Oh,
Tell me about it. Don't like. I just don't like.
I don't like. I don't like the. I do not like NBA All-Star game. When the game is 172 to 159,
Yeah, why play?
what's
Why
they
play?
have any defense at all? Do they, there's some the guy that wins defensive player blocked one shot or stole one ball. I mean, that's,
I'm not even sure they give a defensive player of the year. But anyway, yeah, we'll talk about preseason, in the next few weeks and talk about as we get closer to the beginning of the NFL season.
okay.
But there's definitely some questions they asked about preseason in terms of is it worth it? And we can address those things as they come about.
But
Well-
we've had baseball, Olympics, football, and
Oh,
we
we're
just
gonna
talk
talk-
basketball. I mean, we've done everything today. Hall of Fame, being a member of the Springfield Hall of Fame was, to me, I want, they have the Missouri Hall of Fame, and sure, would I love to be in there? Of course, but the Springfield, this is where I grew up. This is where I become an athlete, and I loved it when they called my name. It just Danny Cashel, who was went in the Hall of Fame this year.
Oh, that's
Springfield Hall of
tremendous.
Fame.
Dan's a great man.
And Dan Cashel called me on the phone and says, hey, Penny. And I said, what, buddy? He goes, you're in. And I go, where? He goes, the Hall of Fame. And, man, my heart just got so big, And I said, buddy, I don't know if you know what I want to feel it right now. And he goes, yeah, I can. And he got into this year that made me so happy and so proud of him. So at St. Agnes, we're going to be at a real small table.
Hey, there you go. It'll be all by itself.
Hall of Fame.
Pretty much two guys.
We're going to our high school reunion this year, 50 years, small table.
Yeah, small table. Here's the deal. At least you got plenty of salad to eat when you were there at the Hall of Fame that night. Hey, I do want to talk about the fact that we talked a little bit about the Cubs. The Cardinals are. I've been hearing a lot of chants on Facebook. Mo's got to go. He's just got to go. And they're talking about John Mozeliak, the general manager.
Well,
of the
what we
team.
did, why would you trade him now? Why would you fire him now? I mean,
He hasn't done anything.
Well, they're not going to win. They're not going to win their division, are they?
They go out and get John Lester, a Cub. They would get a former old Cub player, 39 years old, he's pitched 2 games. And you know what his record is for Cardinals?
0-2.
0-2.
Well,
You know why? Because he's
Because
worthless.
he still thinks he's a Cub.
Cub. Still thinks he's playing for the Cubs.
They're losing.
But hey, one of the things I wanted to share, and we'll talk about Cardinals, I'm sure, again, but we want our viewers to feel like they can write us comments. And we want to know what our viewers want us to talk about in terms of sports. Maybe they have a sports question that they'd like to ask.
Right.
So if you have a comment, a question, we want to encourage you to write those in. As you watch, you're able to make comments on these shows, as long as they're positive comments.
Well,
No,
yeah.
we want just make a comment about how you think the show is, subjects you might want us to address, and we've got some good things coming up in the future.
And see, we don't know if you want to hear about the Philadelphia Phillies or the Florida Marlins or the San Francisco Giants. We don't know what you're interested in yet. So
we
please
wanna-
let us know.
Yeah, please let us know and just share with us your thoughts, because this is your call.
It is your call. And I'll tell you something. I would love to have an all football right before the NFL starts, an all football show where everything is about football. We're talking the teams and who we think is going to win and do this type of thing. I'd love to have an all football show.
Well, we'll just do that. We'll have an all football show.
I can arrange it.
Our sound man just said he could arrange it. There you go.
Well, I tell you, that could happen maybe in about 4 weeks.
That sounds good to me.
All
buddy.
right, sounds good to me. Hey, listen, it's your call.
Okay, well, we're wrapping up, and we want to thank you so much. It's my call this week.
No, it is your call.
Yeah, well, what do you want to call back? You
Well,
have
I
to
don't
call
want to
back.
call back. No, it's your
No,
call.
you just said you wanted to call
I
back.
told you it's your call.
Yeah, you